Great.
Hi, lovelies. Bella Summer here today, and today I want to talk about traumas and how you might be stuck trying to solve an original conflict or past traumas through ruining or self-sabotaging your relationships. My name is Summer. I'm a therapist, a relationship coach, and an inner child coach. And today I want to talk about why you keep self-sabotaging your relationships, why is your original traumas might be leading you to attracting the wrong relationships. I talk a lot about the inner child healing. The inner child healing is about healing your the older version of yourself who is still alive within yourself. So your inner child is still alive until today. You have an inner child. I have an inner child. We all have an inner child. And let's use an example to explain the original conflict, which I work with many of my clients on. The original conflict is basically, let's say, as a child, you were bullied at school, for example, you didn't feel included, your parents were physically there but emotionally not there, or they were too strict on you and they were too critical of you and they were always, on edge when dealing with you. So as a child, you develop what we call abandonment wounds, codependency wounds, and it can lead you to having shame, not feeling good enough about yourself, or having fears of relationships. So as an adult, you attract relationships that are similar to the relationships that were modeled for you in childhood. And what your inner child is trying to do is your inner child is trying to resolve the original conflict, where, for example, you might be right now attracting emotionally unavailable partners, which is you trying to solve the original conflict. For example, your dad wasn't emotionally unavailable. So by attracting someone who is similar to your dad, emotionally not available, your inner child is trying to resolve this trauma to create peace. But of course, this is very unhealthy and it's traumatizing. And what your inner child is trying to do, or that traumatized part of yourself is trying to do, is trying to gain their love and approval to, heal that wound. But healing that abandonment wound in the wrong way can cause you to losing your self-esteem, your self-worth, or even losing yourself in general. And it's really important to start realizing, why am I getting triggered? Why am I attracting these relationships into my life? Let me use an example. So the other day, my client was really triggered by her neighbor. And her neighbor didn't do, something really massive or major, but she was really triggered. And through working together, we noticed that he reminded her of her stepdad. And that's why she was triggered, because her stepdad was abusive and she didn't feel safe around him. So basically, she was operating from a traumatic memory. She wasn't in the here and now. She was not present. She was operating from a traumatic memory. And that's what happens in relationships if you don't heal, if you don't heal your inner child, your past traumas. You most likely will try to resolve the original conflict or fix what was missing in childhood by attracting the wrong relationships and trying to seek approval or validations. And instead, what happens to you have more traumas from within. You struggle with knowing yourself, you struggle with being present, and you lose even your interest in life. And then you become a different person who's depressed, full of anxiety. And in order to stop this cycle, we need to break it. And in order to break it, the first step is to connect with your inner child. You have this inner child who's carrying all your traumas. And what you need to do as a first step is to get to know this inner child. Get to know this inner child. revisit a memory that was traumatizing with your therapist, and connect with your inner child and bring them back to the here and now, and start healing this inner child by reparenting this inner child, by developing a secure attachment style. For example, you don't need to internalize everything. How people see you or treat you is a reflection on them, and that's what you need to start teaching your inner child, for example. Of course, there's more healing that needs to be done to resolve this original conflict that's keeping you stuck, and it's time to break the cycle. But the first step is to connect with this inner child, to be aware, to reparent this inner child, to start being the loving parents that maybe you didn't have. Or even, your inner child, you can have a wounded inner child through relationships. Let's say you've been through traumatic relationships and you lost this, you lost your confidence, you lost your self-worth. And in order for you to heal yourself and your inner child, you need to start connecting, revisiting, reflecting, and learning how to truly move forward. I know you might go to therapy, but talking is not enough. You need skills, you need tools, and this is exactly what I provide inside my programs. And if you're ready to heal, contact me today. Let's talk. Make sure you share this video with a friend who is struggling to attract the right relationship, who is being triggered easily, who is struggling with a wounded inner child. Feel free to share it and make them aware about this. And like I said, if you need any support, comment below, email me today. Let's connect. Make sure you like this video and share it so YouTube knows that you enjoyed it. Also, follow me on Instagram. Let's connect. I would love to know more about you, and I would love to support you. Take care.